This week we studied a portion of Pinchas. It continues on with the story from last week where the daughters of Moab and Midian came into the Jewish camp, convincing the young men to sin with them and worship their idols. God is extremely upset. A plague is breaking. Moshe is ordering the Jewish judges to kill every one of the youngsters who worship idols, and yet the plague does not stop until Pinchas finds a young man, a leader in his tribe, who is sinning with a Midianite woman, and he kills them both, and that's when God's wrath stops, and the people realize they made a mistake and they repent. This week begins with God's promise and reward to Pinchas. God says, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen, Pinchas the son of Elazar, the son of Aaron the Kohen, Eshiv et Chamati, removes my wrath from the Jewish people by avenging my zealousness to the Jewish people, and I did not get rid of the entire Jewish people because of his behavior. Therefore, I am promising him a covenant that will have an everlasting effect, that he will be a Kohen and all his descendants will be Kohanim. As the commentators explain, until now only Aaron and his sons were Kohanim. Pinchas was a grandson and he was not serving God as a Kohen, but from now on he will be a Kohen and all his children forever will always be a Kohen. One question that comes to mind is that Moses, our great leader, also removes God's wrath against the Jewish people countless times. There is so many examples, beginning with the golden calf, with the spies, with Korach. It appears numerous times where Moshe removes God's wrath from upon the Jewish people. Yet we find that he was not receiving such a reward that his children can continue in the same leadership position that he finds himself. In fact, in this week's portion, towards the end of the portion, we read that Moshe is asking for his sons to be the next generation's leaders, and God refuses it and told them to appoint Joshua as the next leader. Why is there such a difference between Moshe and Pinchas? The following is the Rebbe's explanation according to Kabbalah. The Rebbe said that both removed God's wrath from among the Jewish people. However, they both did it in two distinct ways. Moshe always did it from a spiritual point of view. When the Jewish people sinned in the golden calf and God is about to wipe out the Jewish people, Moshe says to God, Ve'im ayin, and if you don't forgive them, mecheni na misifrecha, cut off my soul and spiritual existence. It's not about the physicality of Moses, but rather on the spiritual realm where he is beseeching God on behalf of the Jewish people. Pinchas, on the other hand, his fight on behalf of the Jewish people is in this physical world, putting his own physical body at risk. As the Medrash tells us that the Simeon tribe, upon seeing that Pinchas killed their leader Zimri, they wanted to kill him, and only a miracle prevented him from doing so. So when he stood up on behalf of God, he stood up not in the spiritual realm, but rather in this physical world. What's the difference between the two? The Kabbalah tells us that Moshe's way of beseeching and bringing God's honor is considered a light that comes from above to below, milemala lemata, starting from the spiritual realm and bringing the light down that affects in a positive way the world here in the physical sense. Pinchas, on the other hand, walked his way the opposite direction, milemata lemala, from below to above, changing this universe, affecting this physical world first, which evidently affected the spiritual realms as well. What's the difference between the two? The difference is when it comes from above to below, as long as the light shines down here, it affects the world here on earth in the physical sense. As soon as the light stops, the world can return back to its previous behavior. However, when Pinchas affected this physical world, he actually made an impact or a dent in this physical world, which is an everlasting changing the people to repenting and realizing that they made a mistake and hopefully will not repeat the same behavior. In that way, Pinchas was unique, and that's why the reward was an everlasting covenant to his children, because his impact on the world was such that affected the physical world, making sure that the Jewish people are staying away from this behavior forever, and therefore the reward is that his children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so on for many generations will be rewarded in this way. The point to be taken from this lesson is obvious, which is when we do a mitzvah in this physical world, or impacting others to do a mitzvah with this physical material that exists in this world, it's an everlasting change, and therefore it is very effective that will bring us reward forever. Thank you very much.